A value proposition is a statement that explains a product or service that a company provides, the customer problem that it solves, and the reason that customers will value this solution. You may also hear it referred to as a value prop, but if you're in the theatre business, that could have other connotations. A value proposition is about more than just product features or brand purpose. It's about customer needs. That's the key thing you need to remember. So for example, Salesforce uses one of its own customers, Sonos, to show how its services benefit users. Or the Shopify homepage does a pretty good job of distilling what it does, why it does it, and why you, if you have a business, should be interested. But a problem businesses have is that they go away on a fancy away day and they come up with their value proposition. Then that statement fossilizes over time as the world around them changes. They only update it when the next C-suite away day comes along. The value proposition is not just defined by what the business wants to be or what it wants to provide. It is not a mission statement. Instead, it is affected by changes in customer needs, technology, the competition, regulation, and the market, particularly when new entrants come along. Let's take a really obvious example to show this. You're probably rolling your eyes at another Uber example, but bear with me, I think this one stands up to some scrutiny. Some. So, a taxi will get you from A to B, and possibly C, on weekends. That's a really important element of value, isn't it? And it's very appealing, so customers always accepted it and the drawbacks that came with it. You'd have to call a cab or hail a cab and wait until they could get to you, and often you could only pay in cash. With so little real competition, I mean, you could drive or cycle, but come on, who wants to do that? The taxi firms didn't need to innovate. Now, Uber matches a taxi on that key value element. Next, it uses GPS and maps so the driver knows where to go. The taxi's local knowledge, and particularly the driver's knowledge, has been accrued over decades, but it is now commoditized by data and technology. Then, Uber tackles the other pain points using new technology. So you can book in the app. There are drivers competing for your fare, so you have options and prices are driven down, and you can pay in the app too. It decouples the offering of taxi firms. So what that means is it gives you the bit that you want and it removes all the other bits that you thought you had to take. You want to get a taxi, that means you've got to wait, you've got to pay in cash. Now you can have the trip from A to B, but you don't have to do all those other bits. So let's look at an early version of Uber's website to see how clearly it communicates this. It's an excellent job of distilling down a value proposition and communicating it. But that is not the end of the battle, and too many of these narratives stop there. Uber disrupted everyone and now it's the winner. Well, not quite. The taxi firms can respond, hitting back at the weaknesses that are of course evident in Uber's value proposition. In a story I just absolutely adored, Parisian taxi drivers took etiquette lessons to improve their image after Uber took a lot of their business. They upgraded their cars too, and they introduced standard fares in response to Uber's pretty common surge fares. A group of taxi firms near London also reached a partnership agreement so they could offer short wait times to their customers. In my hometown, Belfast, the major taxi firms have an app that looks and works like Uber but with added safety features. So the story continues, the world changes and businesses have to adapt. In fact, we're really seeing Uber and taxi firms merge at this stage. Let's look at Uber's homepage today. Well, today in the UK. Everyone knows what they do, so it cuts to the chase. They don't need to explain what Uber is anymore. Then below, it focuses on counteracting its weak spots on security and safety. The lesson, the value proposition is always a work in progress. Don't highlight the features that you have or what services you offer. Instead, focus on the benefits to the customer. Do ask yourself how the offering can have an impact on customers' lives. Make sure you put yourself in their shoes. Speak to them. Get out there into the real world. Don't let your value proposition confine you. It should be flexible and adaptable to changing needs. And do add an emotional charge. How does what you're doing change how someone feels? A value proposition is a statement that explains a product or service that a company provides, the customer problem it solves, and the reason customers will value the solution. Subscribe and follow for more of these weekly high-tech videos.